Hi. If you've decided you want to start learning HTML and you're not quite sure where to start, I made this video series for the absolute beginner, so I kind of highly recommend following through my videos, and I think it can be a big help to you, okay? I'm going to show you a few things just to get started before we actually start writing any HTML. The first thing to know about HTML is you can use any text editor you want. You can use Notepad, you can use WordPad, you could use Microsoft Word. What I do recommend is you go ahead and download a program called Notepad++, and you can go to Google and just type Notepad++, and it should be your first search result there. Notepad++ is completely free, and almost everybody uses it, and it's really popular. You can use it for not only HTML, but all programming languages you'll ever learn, basically. So it is a very, very, very good program. So I kind of highly recommend that. I highly recommend that you download that. And it's also going to help you learn HTML because it has some functionality in there that'll be helpful to you later on. And the second thing before we get started is I recommend that you make a folder somewhere. It doesn't matter if it's on your desktop or wherever you want, but just make sure we're saving everything to the same folder. So everything we do in these tutorials, when you go to save, just save it to the same folder. To start out here, I'm going to go to my Notepad++, or you can use just regular Notepad if you wish. I'm going to type something here, and then I'll kind of go back and explain what I did, okay? So there we go. And what this is, it might look strange to you if you've never seen it before, but this is just an HTML element, and it has two parts to it. It has an opening tag on the first line, and it has a closing tag just below it, that bit I highlighted. And you might have noticed the only difference with the closing tag is that slash. It's just the exact same, but it has that slash before the keyword. And in this case, the keyword is HTML. Don't worry too much about what HTML means. In other words, don't worry too much about what this element does. Just kind of look at it and see what a tag looks like, because we're going to be using a few tags to make our first web page, and this is just the first one that we'll be learning about. And if you were wondering how to get these characters, they're going to be on your keyboard, your shift and period key. If you hit, did I say shift and period? I meant comma and period. Your comma and period key, if you hit shift and then your comma and period key, that's how you get those characters. And the way HTML works is anything between these tags is, let's type something. This is between the tag. Okay, so this text I just wrote, that's considered to be within the HTML element. And the reason why is because it's between the tags, between the opening tag here and the closing tag here. And I could have also gone on the same line, so I could go like this, and it's the exact same thing, okay? It's this text is still between the tags, therefore it is part of the HTML element. So I'm going to explain what the HTML element is, and for now, all you really need to know is that your web pages will generally always begin with this HTML opening tag, and it will always end with this HTML closing tag. And anything between it is going to be your web page. Okay, it's going to be your some other tags we're going to learn, and all of your content, your headers and paragraphs and pictures and links and whatever you have on your website. The second tag we're going to look at is called the body tag, okay, and it looks just like this. And the body tag, you might have noticed it looks really familiar already. It has the same kind of weird characters. It has the same slash. That way we know it's a closing tag. For the second tag, there is the closing tag. And all you really need to know about the body element is that it's everything in the white area. In this example, on this Google search result, it's everything in this white area, everything in the viewable area. You can think of it as anything in the browser window, okay? And so in this case, in this example, it would include the Google logo, it would include the Google search bar, it would include the search results, it would include everything you see, okay? And this is kind of where we're going to put our first kind of hello world content. So we'll just go hello world. And this content is between the body tag, the body tags. Okay, so therefore it is part of the body element. So this whole highlighted part would be considered the body element. And so let's go ahead and save this. I'm going to save as, you can name it whatever you want. I think I'm going to name mine index. And the very important thing though is that you have to give it the extension .html. Okay, so I'm going to go index.html and I'm going to save that. And you might have noticed that Notepad++ kind of changed the, it changed some colors in our text editor. And the reason it did is because now it actually recognizes this as an HTML document. So it's going to try to help us, it's going to help us with some stuff just visually. And it does that automatically. So you don't really need to worry about that. And I think for now, the easiest way to get to your web page that you just made is just go out to your folder, the one you created, the new folder, and just double click the icon. So if you saved it correctly, your icon should be, it should have the logo of whatever your default browser is. Mine is Firefox, that's why the Firefox logo is there. So I'm just going to double click that. Okay, so there's our first web page, and I forgot to take this part out, but it's, I hope you can kind of see, and I'll actually take that part out right now because that shouldn't be there anyways. I just kind of use that to illustrate something else. So if I reload this, okay, that's kind of what I was going for, is just our hello world. And before I end this video, I just want to show you one more tag. But before I do that, I want to, I just kind of want to mention that this body element, it's inside the HTML element, okay? And that might be really confusing and kind of hard to understand at first, but and don't worry about it if you don't understand it right away, but just know that this body element is inside the HTML element, and the reason why is because it's between the tags, okay? So this whole highlighted section is between the HTML opening tag and the HTML closing tag. And just to kind of recap, everything's gonna basically be between those tags, not just the body element. So your web page will generally always begin with the HTML opening tag here on line 1, and it's generally always going to end with the HTML closing tag here on line 17, I guess. And the last tag I want to show you in this video is the head tag. I'm not going to go into what the head tag is in this video, but just the only reason I wanted to show you this is just so you know that there's, I'll take a step back. The reason I wanted to show you this is because this whole part that we just made, it's going to be kind of your bare bones for every web page you make. Okay, it's going to be, you're going to have an HTML tag at the very beginning, opening tag. You're going to have an HTML closing tag at the very end, and then you're going to have a head and body element inside of your HTML tags. And the head always comes before the body. And I will get in the next video, I'll kind of explain a little more about what the head is. We said the body was kind of this white viewable window in your browser. The head tag, just think of it for now as everything else. It might be some stuff going on in the background. It might be some other things. So don't worry too much about that. The only reason I wanted to show you these 3 elements is because this is your basic bare bones web page. Okay, for every web page you make, it's going to have a head tag, a body tag, and HTML tags. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out my website. It's linko.com. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.